Iran opens fire near the Strait of Hormuz, attacking several cargo ships and seizing them just hours after President Trump extended the ceasefire. So welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino. Bill Hemmer is off, and it's great to have you, Bill.
Great to be with you as always. I'm Bill Malugin. Dramatic developments as the White House confirming to Fox just moments ago that President Trump has extended the ceasefire with Iran for only 3 to 5 days. And despite that ceasefire, Iran's Revolutionary Guard is deliberately seizing ships and directing them to the coast of Iran.
The latest developments also raising serious questions about ongoing efforts to end the conflict. Former CENTCOM spokesman Joe Bacino earlier making the case for the U.S. to maintain the blockade on Iran.
If we lift the blockade while Iran is keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed, they've got leverage, or certainly they feel like they've got leverage. I think with the blockade, we've got multiple pressure points. We've knocked out 50 years, more than 50 years of military equipment inside of Iran. Then we've got the economic pressure with the blockade. Then we've got the diplomatic pressure with the ceasefire delay. And eventually we're going to start, presumably, phase 2 of the war.
And Lucas Tomlinson is joining us live at the White House this morning with some new reporting on this ceasefire. Lucas, what you got?
Well, Bill, good morning. After U.S. forces seized 2 Iranian ships, it appears Iran has responded in kind, seizing 2 ships in the Strait of Hormuz just this morning. As President Trump says he's only extending the ceasefire 3 to 5 days, according to White House officials. The president posting about the ceasefire on Truth Social saying, quote, "Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in all other respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded." Now, early this morning, the British military says Iranian gunboats attacked 3 ships transiting the Strait of Hormuz, commandeering 2 of them, one causing heavy damage to the bridge. The second attack took place just 8 miles off the coast of Iran, the third nearby. Ship tracking shows it was a Panamanian flagged and Liberian flagged vessels that were seized, both associated with the Mediterranean Shipping Company, the largest container shipping line in the world, based in Geneva. Iran's state broadcaster says the 2 vessels are currently inside Iran's territorial waters for inspection of their cargo, documentation, and related records. On Friday, President Trump claimed Iran would never close the Strait of Hormuz again. Last night, he said the financial pressure is key to ending the war, posting, quote, "Iran is collapsing financially. They want the Strait of Hormuz opened immediately, starving for cash, losing $500 million a day. Military and police complaining that they are not getting paid. SOS, or Save Our Ship." And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent echoing the president, saying, as the president made clear, the United States Navy will continue the blockade of Iranian ports. In a matter of days, Carg Island storage will be full, and the fragile Iranian oil wells will be shut in. Constraining Iran's maritime trade directly targets the regime's primary revenue lifelines. So Vice President J.D. Vance's trip to Islamabad to engage in a second round of talks with Iran is on hold, pending this counterproposal from Iran. The White House says it is waiting for that before the vice president ships off. And Iran says it will not come to the talks until the blockade is lifted. Bill?
All right, Lucas Tomlinson live at the White House this morning. Lucas, thanks.
So more on this with retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. Thank you for being here. So last night the president said indefinitely, we just now have from the White House 3 to 5 days. What do you think is happening there? What's he thinking about what he wants to do to try to break this impasse?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Dan, and thanks, Bill, for having me on today. Look, you break the impasse by just breaking off negotiations. We're saying we're done with these guys. We're finished. And you take a really harder line. You create problems for them. They're a theocratic government. They're led by the supreme leader. You've got the IRGC out there, which is actually distributed because of the Mosaic defensive plan out there. We really don't know who's in charge. So we're just going to say we're in charge and this is what we're going to do. And if that means taking Carg Island or the islands in the Strait, so be it. We've got 2 amphibious ready groups of Marines off the shore, as well as the 82nd Airborne has a brigade in theater. They're ready to go. They can do that immediately. You want to create problems for this administration, meaning the Islamic government that's over the theocratic government. As long as you've got the IRGC in charge with Vahidi, you were going to have a problem. You know, the biggest problem they've got is the Besieged, which is basically a paramilitary group of 500,000. They're the one actually controlling the civilian population. But the IRGC is not the army, and you want to fragment them out. And I would say create problems for these guys. Make them try to figure out how to command and control all this. President Trump has it right. Pushing this thing economically is going to break their back. I think we need to continue both the blockade, but ramp it up even more. Make it so it's almost impossible for them to do something. That doesn't mean you march to downtown Tehran, but it can be very selective raids, what you want to do, and create problems for them and command and control. And I think the president, you know, has the ability to do that. I know he's got the courage to do it, and he's done things that most people have not done in the past. Well, nobody's done in the past. So I think it's reaching a point right now where we're just say we're not going to negotiate anymore. We're just going to finish the job as we need to.
Well, and Lieutenant General, to your point, there is a very serious fracture with the Iranians right now. It seems like some want to negotiate, some want to fight. There was a report on this last night that says, quote, Iranian officials and IRGC-affiliated media are signaling readiness for the imminent resumption of war. Some senior Iranian clerical and political figures have expressed support for negotiations and for the negotiating team, but this support remains limited and does not yet reflect a unified shift within the regime. So to the point you made earlier, the IRGC and the Besieged are the guys with the guns. So it doesn't really matter what the clerics and the politicians say, right?
Well, yeah, the IRGC has guns, so does the Army, and the Army is separate from the IRGC. It's actually twice the size of the IRGC. But you want to make it so hard on them that they have to make hard decisions, and they're fractured really badly. When you look at people like their president, Pezeshkian, he's a moderate. He tries to be, you know, of course, that's kind of stretching the word moderate. But the fact is they've kind of sidelined him. The real guy in charge is that picture up there, the Vahidi. He's running the ROGC. But they've distributed command and control. They call it the mosaic defense. They've done this over years because they were always afraid of fighting the United States. So they've distributed the command to 31 regional commands. The Besieged is the one who's keeping the population down. Just create a problem for them. The only way you're going to break their back. And that's what you need to do, is break their back. You have to understand that we are fighting a theocratic, a religious zealots. The Besieged are theocratic thugs, and we need to address that. It's no more, as the president says, no more Mr. Nice Guy. We'll just go after it and say, we're not going to negotiate anymore. We're just going to keep tearing apart Iran economically. And if that means going to the home base of Karg Island or places like that, that's what we're going to do. And you keep the embargo in place, which is being brilliantly done and led. But you want to attack them, and you want to make sure that sooner or later they break. And you're actually looking for a domestic revolt. Yeah, you are, because that's the only way that the regime is going to fall, or it's going to not cause us problems. As long as the Iranian Revolutionary Guards is in control, they're going to keep chanting death to America, death to Israel, death to anybody that doesn't like them.
General Kellogg, thank you for being with us. Thank you for being with us this morning. We're out of time now, but obviously this is fast moving, and we'll call you back. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.